Well, I will explain from register. So definition of register by expert. M.A.K. Halliday defines register as a variety of language distinguished according to its use in particular social situation by three variables like fields, what is happening, manner, who is taking part, and mode, the form of communication. John Swallow defines register as a specific type of language variation often related to a particular professional or educational context that is crucial for understanding how language functions in different academic and professional settings. So, register in linguistics as a variety of a language used for a particular purpose or in a particular social setting. For example of register like ESP for business terminology, report formats. And the second example is for medicine, medical terminology, patient documentation formats. And for the last example is for engineering, technical vocabulary, language in instruction. And then teaching methods. Some teaching methods of register like needs analysis. That is either identifying the relevant register for learners' specific needs. And curriculum design integrates the appropriate register with the necessary language skills. And the last, materials and resources to relevant registers such as specialized textbooks, articles, and practical communication exercise. So the aims of register is to identify the grammatical and lexical features of this register. And the teaching materials focus on linguistic features which are represented by syllabus. Now we turn to rhetorical. Definition of rhetorical: the art of effective or persuasive speaking or writing, often using figures of speech and other compositional techniques. Some or key elements of rhetoric. First is audience, context, and purpose. Wherever audience is, knowing the audience for selecting appropriate language, tone, and style. Context influence how the message is crafted and received. And the last, purpose, whether it's to inform, persuade, instruct, or entertain, the purpose rhetorical strategies use. Now some strategies of rhetorical. First is ethos, is establishing credibility and authority in communication, essential for professional. The second, pathos, is appealing to the audience emotions, which is useful in fields like marketing and human resources. And the last is logos, using logical arguments and evidence, crucial in technical, legal, and academic writing. For example, medical writing is communicating complex medical information clearly and persuasively, whether in patient documentation, research articles, or public health campaigns. Now we turn to discourse. Definition of discourse by some expert. John Swallow defines as the language used in specific genres and professional or academic communities. He emphasized the importance of understanding how language functions within this context to achieve particular communicative goals. And Douglas and Susan, they define as the use of language that varies systematically according to the situational context. They highlight the role of discourse analysis in identifying these variations and understanding their implications for effective communication. So, discourse is the way we use language to communicate with each other in social situations. Difference discourse and rhetorical. historical analysis is focused on persuasion and how effectively language influences an audience. While discourse analysis is focused on how language constructs meaning and functions within specific social contexts. And then key elements of discourse. There are three elements of discourse like cohesion, coherence, context. Cohesion is the linguistic elements that connect sentence and parts of a text together. Coherence, the logical flow and overall sense making of a text. Context, the situational, cultural, and social factors that influence communication. So, the similarities is understanding the context is crucial for both discourse and critical analysis to interpret meaning and effectiveness accurately. Okay, go on now. Target situation analysis (TSA). According to Tom and Allen, describe TSA as a method to determine the needs of learners by examining the communicative tasks they will perform in their specific occupational or academic context. According to Mundy, it defines TSA as the process of identifying the specific learning skills and competence required by learners to function effectively in their target situation, such as a specific job or academic setting. Skill and strategies. The principal idea behind the skill-centered approach is that underlying all language use. There are common reasoning and interpreting process which enable learners to extract meaning from discourse. Okay, so skills required for TSA: identify patterns, draw conclusions, gather accurate information from learners, awareness of cultural norms, practice organized tasks, manage timeline significance of data in relation to the target situation. So, strategies for conducting TSA: understanding specific language needs using reviews, observations, and documents, consult with learners, practitioners, employers, summarize the task, skill, language, and functions. Okay, next. Now I tend to explain about a learning-centered approach in ESP. Definition of a learning-centered approach in ESP by expert. According to Tom and Allen, describe a learning-centered approach as one that not only considers what learners need to do with the language, but also how they learn it. According to David Noonan, emphasized that a learner-centered curriculum is built around the interests, needs, and learning styles of the students, where learners take an active role in the decision-making process regarding their learning. Okay, now we turn to key elements of a learning-centered approach. The first is learner needs analysis, flexible curriculum design, active learning strategies, collaborative learning. So there are some advantages of a learning-centered approach. First is learners are more motivated and engaged when they see the relevance of their learning to their personal goals and interests. Second, helps learners retain information better. The third, learners develop the skills to manage their own learning, which is beneficial for lifelong learning. Next, challenges of a learning-centered approach. It's finding the right balance between meeting individual learner needs and maintaining a structured curriculum can be challenging. So, the example of implementation is a learner needs analysis. Conduct surveys and interviews to understand the specific language tasks that needs professionals needs, such as negotiating, presenting, and emailing.